Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. This is the brother Yakana from the GMS Houston camp, and just another lesson going into a prophecy. What these military leaders are saying, and this video in particular is one of the heads of military in Germany, and what they have to say, because all the roads, starting with the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, what the prophets are saying is that, hey, it's going to be war, not peace. It's Jacob's trouble. It's going to be the MOTB, which is the micro C hip, which is a Revelation 13:16, Jacob's trouble. We're not prophesying times of peace. We're prophesying a war and confusion. This is the spirit that's going out there right now. So, and matter of fact, yesterday I was doing a lesson. I forgot. This is just to add on to real quick. This is the lesson I was doing yesterday, because I know I had this chapter brought up, but I forgot the exact point I wanted to bring out. So this is Genesis chapter 18 verse 16, and the men rose up from thence. These are three angels that came to Abraham, and then two of them went on their way to Sodom. But it says, and the men rose up from thence and looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And Yahweh said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great nation, great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. Meaning that through the Israelites are scattered throughout all the nations, as the sands of the sea, as the stars in heaven. There's a great multitude of us which cannot be numbered. But in every nation where we've been scattered in our captivity, the nations are blessed through us, through our ingenuity, through our blessing. We're not recognized, but we have done a lot of things, despite what Esau Edom has said and all his propaganda he's put out through the earth. Like even Yahushua said, ye are the salt of the earth. And who is he speaking to? Israelites. This is Genesis 18:19. For I know him, For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And who did the Ishmaelites do that? Did the sons of Keturah do that? Did the Midianites, did they do that? Did they keep the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? Did Esau, Edom, keep the ways of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? No, it was the Israelites. This is who it was given to. Psalms 147 verse 19. These statutes and commandments were only given to the Israelites. And they shall keep the way of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to do justice and judgment, that Yahweh may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. And this was the point. And Yahweh said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, because their sin is grievous. And this is modern day Sodom. This is spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. But the point is, these cries, their sins have reached up to the heavens, and the Lord is getting ready to visit. I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it. And what's that cry going out? Look at all the wickedness they're doing. And this is back then in Sodom, but now today in spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, Babylon the Great. The cry from the Israelites is going out. Look at what they're doing to your people. Look at this horde drunk off the blood of the saints, drunk off the blood of your people. So the Lord's making an inquisition to see if these things are true, to see if this whore really is doing all these things. And guess what? She is. She's not going to be found innocent. She's even going to try to fight against the Lord. says, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me. If not, I will know. So, hey, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is making that inquisition. You seeing these things come to pass. So let me see here. Let me play this video real quick.
Zusammenhang mit der Außen- und Sicherheitspolitik darauf noch einmal zu sprechen. Aber liebe Freundinnen und Freunde, die Jahrzehnte der Pax Americana sind für uns in Europa und auch für uns in Deutschland weitestgehend vorbei. Es gibt es nicht mehr so, wie wir sie kennengelernt haben. Und da hilft auch keine Nostalgie. Und ich wäre einer der Letzten, der sich dieser Nostalgie nicht gerne hingeben würde. Aber es nützt nichts. Es ist so. Die Amerikaner nehmen jetzt sehr, sehr hart ihre eigenen Interessen wahr.
So, Pax Americana, meaning Peace America. Let's get that real quick. The peace is over. He said that the Americans are pursuing their own interests. All this stuff that they're doing, that's all nostalgia. Looking back at the past, that's all nostalgia. They don't have our interests in mind. This whore has her own interests in mind, just like a regular whore. But this is Pax Americana, is Latin for American peace, refers to a period of refers to the period of relative global stability and prosperity since World War II, driven by the United States' unmatched economic, military, and political power, creating an international system of free trade, security, and democratic norms. Though debates continue about its decline and transition to a new world order, that's important, is this NWO, what these elites are trying to design. They want to form a new world order, and Babylon the Great is at the head of that. And how is that going to happen? Through that micro C-hip. And these other countries too. They're all these countries like China, Russia, these superpowers are jockeying to be the head of this new world order. It's often contrasted with Pax Romana, which, if you know, this is the revived Roman Empire that we're in. Hence why they're using Pax. Why are they using Latin, the language that was spoken in the Roman Empire? But anyway, and characterized by U.S. hegemony. Let's look at that hegemony. Says hegemony is dominance or leadership of one group, state, or entity over others, achieved not just through force, but by shaping consent, values, and norms, making its rule seem natural or inevitable. So again, it's a dominance or leadership of one group, state, or entity over others. Dang, what is that? Oh, hold on. Man, I'm lucky. Scriptures come to mind. I already had this pulled up, but let's go to this. Revelation 17. And it said, before I went to the search, U.S. hegemony, meaning U.S.'s rule, dominance over others, their influence. It's not just by force, but it's by consent. It's making people consent to this. And not even go into that in this lesson, but it's several ways. And Revelation 17 and verse 1, and the header says, the doom of Babylon. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So this is that great whore that sits on many waters. And let me jump down, I think it's verse 13. No, it's 12. No, maybe it's a little further down. Verse 15, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So this hegemony, this whore has hegemony or rule over all these different, nations, peoples, tongues, over those many waters. Verse 2, back to Revelation 17, verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants committed fornication. They committed to it. It said by consent. It says G4203 porneuo says the act of a harlot to indulge unlawful lust, to prostitutes one body to the lust of another, to give oneself to unlawful sexual intercourse, to commit fornication, to be given to idolatry, to worship idols, to permit oneself, that's consent, to be drawn away by another into idolatry. So these other nations, they followed this whore. They gave their consent to the whore. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And so, hey, that's all I'm gonna get from that. I'm gonna go back to I think I made the point on hegemony, and even Pax Americana. And so, it's often contrasted with Pax Romana and characterized by U.S. hegemony, but recent shifts challenge this dominance with rising powers like China and renewed geopolitical tensions, signaling a potential end or evolution of this era. So key aspects of Pax Americana: economic order, fostering globalization through secure shipping, open markets, and institutions like the WTO, benefiting and interconnecting economies. Security framework: the U.S. nuclear umbrella and military presence deterred major wars between great powers, especially during the Cold War. And that's all fading because, hey, there's more nations. At one point, it was the U.S. that had nuclear arms, and the U.S. and Russia. Now there's many nations that have nuclear arms. So the U.S. ain't, really top dog, especially economically anymore. So debates about its status decline. Some argue U.S. power has waned due to economic shifts, costly interventions like Afghanistan, and challenges from rivals like Russia and China, leading to a return of great power competition. Evolution: the others suggest a return of Pax Americana as democracies unite against authoritarianism or advocate for a new, more inclusive American-led order. And that's going to be through that chip. This is how it's going to work, through the chip. This is what they're really, jousting for. But it's going to lead to its downfall. But hey, enough of this. I'm going to save that page and look over it some more. This is Jeremiah 28 and verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. So this is the words, the true prophets. This is what we speaking. We speaking against this great whore, against all these different nations. Because, according to the scriptures, we're speaking according to the scriptures, not according to our own heart. According to the scriptures, this fourth beast, when this goes down, the saints are going to take the kingdom. And we're going to be ruled over by Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. So the Israelites are going to rule after this. And it's going to be a kingdom that'll never fall. Because we're going to be perfect. We're going to have the law, statutes, and commandments within us. And we're going to show you heathen how to take care of the earth. Because this top heathen, Esau Edom, he doesn't know how to rule. He rules unjustly. He rules in wickedness. He cannot do righteousness. So as long as this devil's in rulership, even in Matthew, Yahushua said that if the days were not shortened, there would be no flesh left to save. If this devil was allowed to rule any longer than what he's supposed to, this devil would destroy everything and himself. So this is Isaiah 34 and verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all the things that come forth of it. So this message is going out to all the nations, everyone, Israelites included, All the nations are hearing this, and we know you elites, you're listening. For the indignation of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. All y'all, the Lord is going to bring his wrath down on all you heathen. In 2 Ezra 13th chapter. Their slain shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And even before 2 Ezra 13th chapter, these nations are going to be warring against each other. World War III. And that's all I'm gonna read from that. Lord willing, I'll come back to it because it goes into the judgment of Babylon. This is Joel chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 1 and I'll jump down. For behold, in those days and in that time, that when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations. So again, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. We're in this time. Right now, we're being gathered by the word. And at the end of this, we're going to be gathered into the chariots. The chariots of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat in the Middle East. And I will plead with them there for my people. And that doesn't mean begging. No, he's going to judge these nations. And for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So all you nations, y'all are going to be gathered. You're being gathered together right now. Right now, it's rumors of war and wars. And eventually, the war is going to pop off there in the Middle East. It's going to be World War III. Right now, it's in the early stages. It ain't officially World War III on the books. But it's in those early stages. Where it's not an official World War yet. I'm going to jump down. Verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So this is what's going on. And they're saying peace is over. That's a thing of the past. Now we got to, America has its own interests, and this is what they're preparing for. The NATO chief was saying the same thing. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So this is the farming instruments. They're not so much focused on farming. They're focusing on war. They're building up even NATO. They're beefing up their militaries. Assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down. So already read that again. So moving on, this is Jeremiah. But this is going into Jacob's trouble, but this is at the same time. So Jeremiah 30 and verse 4, and these are the words that Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. So this is the voice that's going out. Not peace, it's war, trembling, fear. This is going to be a great day where those of us in the know, we know that we don't know where we're going to be. We don't know if we're going to face death. Some of us are going to be beheaded. We're going to be thrown in prison. We know these things, but we know that we have a reward at the end of this. As long as we don't lose hope, as long as we don't give in to our flesh. As long as Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai continues to have mercy on us. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. This is a great time where the men, when you look at the men today, they're not ready for war. They're not preparing for that. They want to put on cat ears. Dress up like a horse. Get Edgar haircuts and wave their fingers in front of the camera. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So this is Jacob's trouble, which, hey, it's going on right now. You got ICE pulling people off the streets, pulling Jake off the streets. You got this AI technology going through your phones, everything, looking at your faces, looking at where you're driving, getting you at the airports, and all kinds of things. But it's only going to ramp up. It's only going to get worse. You got famines brewing, diseases, all kinds of things. You got this hatred that Esau Edom has that's brewing up, that's about to spill over. So back to these nations. This is Revelation 17 and verse 16. These nations that are round about, like NATO and the EU, the nations that were allied, that gave consent to this whore. This is Revelation 17 and verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So these 10 nations, which represents NATO and the EU, modern day. These were the same countries that were back then, the same nations that were back then during the Roman Empire. And they're back. These hate the whore. This whore, Babylon the Great. They hate this place. The same way, hey, that German man was speaking. Yeah, that's nostalgia. The good times, those good times is over. The same way you knew a chick back in the day. Yeah, those were good times when y'all were together, whatever. But she turned out to be a whore. That bitch burned you. Too many times. Now you hate that bitch. The same thing with what they did so many things. One that comes to mind is that pipeline that they had, cutting off their oil, fucking up their economy. That happened, 3-4 years ago, maybe 5? And then blaming it on Russia. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Now, if you take this and go back to Isaiah 34, where I left off, it's going to pick up right there. It's talking about the same thing. For the Most High have put, trying to highlight it, there you go. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall be fulfilled. And this is for a period of time. Yeah, they're all in agreement right now until this is complete. And then Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to, like it says in Obadiah, they have laid snares under you, and you were not aware. Verse 18, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, Babylon the Great, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. The hegemony. U.S. hegemony. Revelation 18. Let me see. I'll start at verse 2. Revelation 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, and saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and it's become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Back to Isaiah 34. Also, what is that? Jeremiah 50. I think I still had that pulled up. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So everybody's getting down with this whore. Everybody's drunk off this whore. They're out of their minds. Everybody's they're getting something. Like, hey, what's in the news lately? Them Somalians. They coming over here. Hey, they found out the way how to get over on this whore. And they sending all that money back to their home country. Everybody's coming over here. Hey, this whore destroyed all kinds of places, ruined people's lives, gathered the people unto herself. And now these people coming here, look, we sending all this stuff back home. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So come out of her, my people. You know, this ain't mentally, this is physically. The Israelites, the elect of Israel, starting with the 144,000 being lifted up in the chariots into what you call UFOs, UAPs, what the scriptures called clouds, chariots, things like that, wheels, things like that. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. So going back to what I started, Genesis 18, the cry that's going out in Babylon, the Most High remembered it. He did an inquiry. He looked into it, and it's like, oh yeah, you gotta go. Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. And the cup which she have filled, fill to her double. So she's gonna get double, more. This place is gonna be wiped out. It's like I said, it's gonna be a desolate place, completely wiped out. Nobody's gonna dwell here ever again. Only unclean animals. And then the surviving Edomites and all you other heathen, y'all are going into slavery. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who judgeth her. So that's beautiful, beautiful judgment. So let me see here. What else do I have? I'll just go back to Isaiah 34 and finish off there. Isaiah 34 and verse 4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all her hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. This is speaking of the ICBMs, the thermonuclear fire that's coming. This place is going to be clean, dissolved. This is going to melt the elements, like it says in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So the sword of the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the ICBM, that's the sword of the Lord. It's going to be bathed in heaven. I mean, it's going to go into the atmosphere, the trajectory of it, and it's going to come down upon Idumea. It's going to be beautiful. The sword of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of the lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys of rams. And for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. So this is a year of payback for everything that you've done to the Israelites. So starting with Yahushua himself, him letting out his anger. This is the day he's been waiting for. Isaiah 63. But let me see. I'll continue reading. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. So this place is going to be completely destroyed, utterly destroyed. It shall not be quenched night nor day. It's going to be burning for a long time. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. A very long time this place is going to be burning. From generations to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. So this place is going to be no longer recognized as borders. You're not going to recognize Florida on the map. You're not going to recognize New York. You're not going to recognize California, the Rocky Mountains, the Appalachians, the Mississippi River. Hey, this whole place is going to be turned, into an unrecognizable, mess. But this is what's coming. And we're just in them early stages where they're just talking. Eventually, them talk's going to go to physical. And then them physical is going to lead up to, hey, this place going up in flames. So, hey, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Hey, Shalom.